I mentioned, technology. So, how does Paying Easy leverage technology to improve, customer satisfaction, efficiencies for the franchisees?
Yeah, so we're a big believer. One of our core values is innovation, and another core value is solution seeking. So looking at problems and how can we solve them, and one utilizing technology to do that. And so we're using different AI technology for client, acquisition or even nurturing of clients through a sales process. Our CRM also helps with that process as well. But yeah, we're using technology from start to finish throughout the process on the client journey. And we believe long term that we have to continue to even keep reinvesting into the technology aspect. If I'm to look from, being 25 years now in the paint industry, looking at maybe how has the industry evolved or where is it going and those kind of things, as far as the application of paint, the selling of paint jobs and overall, those have stayed pretty much the same in 25 years. The paint products in general are pretty much the same. There's little differences here and there as well, but in general, it's stayed the same. What's changing though is the buying behavior of clientele, the way you market to a client, and just the use of technology in our everyday lives. And so we feel that we have to continue to keep evolving from a technology standpoint to lead from the front versus following from the back. And so we'll continue to add new technology over time as it makes sense as well.
Love that. No, that makes a lot of sense. And just this is more out of curiosity. This is just a question that just popped in my mind. So if hypothetically, if someone has, a painting business, maybe they have their current painting business, in reality, they can really convert, reach out to Paint Easy, maybe convert that business and take advantage of, I would assume, although not, I assume you would take advantage of the technology, but I would assume maybe the better pricing, the economies of scale,
Right.
dealing with the national franchise. So have you seen that, or is that a possibility for someone that maybe owns a mom and pop painting business?
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. We haven't had that come across as an opportunity at this point, but we would definitely be open to it with the right, potential owner that way. But yeah, there would be opportunities to systemize and involve more processes, utilizing technology, having a marketing team behind those individuals as well that they probably don't have right now with their own
Right.
business. And then the economies of scale with pricing. That's one of the areas I feel like we do really well. Having worked for the paint companies before, it allows us to really know what we can negotiate, maybe where we can't as much, and
Right.
really be able to put our owners in a great place that way too.
Awesome. Yeah, I just popped in my head. Yeah, I was just, out
Yeah.
of curiosity. I'm like, wow, I know, local painting companies, and they always complain about, being behind on quotes, and then there's no real follow up aside from, maybe a text message to do the job. It's with a couple breakdown, but there's no follow up system, email.
Yeah.
The invoice sometimes is written on a piece of paper. So yeah, I said there's massive benefit there, and you don't have to figure all that out, figuring out the CRM and how to price and all that, because, that's the other thing. There's changes in pricing. And that's
Right.
another thing. You want a system that can take into consideration. For example, we work with a flooring franchise, and I think of all their SKUs, two SKUs would be potentially affected by the tariffs. And it was reflected immediately. So the franchisee, excuse me, wasn't blindsided giving the wrong quote and then obviously potentially taking the loss on the job. So that is crucial as well. And just being up to date with all current pricing.
The systems are impressive, but what does success actually look like for a franchisee? Next, JD shares an emotional and inspiring success story of a franchisee who became the first homeowner in their family through the business. Listen to episode 250 of the Franchise Freedom Podcast.